Richie Antipuna Show. With me, Heather Barton. Now here's Richie.
Well, the old Northeast Hospital is going through another transition, but don't get all excited because there's still going to be no ER.
No?
Nope.
So people still have to sew themselves up and
That's
take
right.
out their own billets?
That's it. Take out their own billets.
Their billets.
It closed because so many people use Medicaid and they weren't making money. Actually, they lost $6.6 million in '06 and projected losses of $15 million if they would have stayed open.
So I guess they figure that people that are on Medicaid don't deserve emergency room service?
I don't know. You just see things like this happen a lot in low-income neighborhoods. It happened like that in Louisiana.
Well, we're not in Louisiana, and I know a lot of people in Kensington and Port Richmond have no emergency room service. And if anything, whatever they're opening up for, they should offer classes on how to put yourself back together. Say you lose an arm or...
Well, the space was bought by Bluestone Real Estate Capital. They raised about $9.5 million. It will now have medical offices with all kinds of healthcare providers, from pediatricians to dentists.
Well, that's good. They need a
This project
dentist.
should bring hundreds of new jobs to the community, but I wonder if it will bring people from the community new jobs.
Right. They never tell you that.
No.
So-
They always say new jobs, but for who?
Right.
At least
We
if,
should
if
go
jobs
apply
benefit.
and see if we get the job.
Well, you know, I can't work.
Oh, that's right. You could go there for maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So also there's been a lot of gas explosions all over in Kensington
Yes.
and
abroad.
and abroad. And there was 10 homes evacuated the other day because copper thieves went in and took copper out of the pipes, I guess, where they take
was
copper
this at?
from, on G Street.
And 10 homes were evacuated. That had to be the whole block.
Pretty much, yeah, from between Kensington and Allegheny.
Allegheny? Nah, that's still a tight block. There's no locks on that block. So
But
what happened?
what do they do? What do they strip for the copper? The pipes?
Well, copper doesn't run gas. That's black pipe.
Then what do they do? Wires?
No, they take all the pipes, all the copper, all the black pipe, and they scrap it.
And it's worth a lot of money?
Right now it is. Precious
What happened to
metals are up.
gold? I thought gold was high in value
Well,
these
don't
days.
walk around there with any gold on.
I don't wear gold. This is all copper. Anyway, people were, out of their houses for a couple hours. They couldn't go back because they were afraid that it was going to blow out like the incident down there in Tykone.
Yeah.
So that's a shame. They had to take about 15 people to a nearby school, probably up there at Ascension. And
Well, where were the rest of the people?
I guess, I don't know, that was the amount of people that they had to take out. They don't care
Well,
about
if
the rest of the
they
people.
evacuated 10 homes, there was only 15 people in 10 homes in Kensington?
I guess.
That's a record.
Well, they were evacuated. They were allowed to return in a couple hours. So, and then the smell dissipated, and hopefully they don't have to worry about it now because now all the copper's out of those abandoned houses.
Now the gas company knows all their gas is only legal now, so they'll be without heat.
Oh, that's not. No.
Well, in other news, city council candidates are gearing up for another election for their campaigning.
Oh.
And here comes the politics and the low blow annex. And we are told that there is to be a monumental change in city council.
Really?
Yes, State Representative Kenyatta Johnson has announced his campaign for council's 2nd district seat, being vacated by Council President Anna Verna.
Okay.
And City Councilman Curtis Jones Jr. has announced his bid for the 2nd term in the council's 4th district. State Representative Danny O'Brien will announce his candidacy for a council at-large seat, and Councilman Jack Kelly is stepping down from one of 2 at-large seats reserved for Republicans. City Councilwoman Johnny Blackwell will announce her bid for re-election to council's 3rd district seats.
Well, how is that a monumental change if they're all the same people? being
I don't know. It's
reelected.
basically, them seats are like family, you know what I mean? Because they don't even announce like Frank Rizzo Jr. and Wilson Goodson's in there. I don't even know his first name. Maybe his name's Wilson. I don't know. But it's all family. It's all politics.
Oh.
It ain't who you know, it's who you blow.
Wow, I don't want to be in that business. In more exciting news, there are some Kenzo lottery winnings that aren't picking up their money. I don't know what's going on. If you bought a lottery ticket at the DSK store at the 5200 Frankfurt Avenue, your time is running out. You have until February 17th, which is like now, worth $275,000.
What was a Kenzo doing on the 5200 block of Frankfurt Avenue? I didn't know it was a Kenzo.
Well, they probably rode the L down there and got their lottery ticket, got off. But there's money out there and they're not picking it up. How could somebody not know that they have money on their ticket? Don't you check them every day? Like, everybody check your tickets. If you bought a ticket there within, when was it? The last year.
Yeah, because they're good for a year.
Yeah, make sure you check your numbers. That's crazy, like all that money. The numbers are 1, 3, 6, 8, and 18.
What was the Powerball number?
That wasn't the Powerball, was it?
It wasn't?
I guess then 18's the Powerball number.
No, 32 was the Powerball number.
No, that's on the second ticket.
Oh.
Because you claimed that you had those numbers, but for some reason you didn't play that day. There's another $200,000 that hit, and those numbers were 1, 6, 10, 13, 20, and the Powerball 32.
And where were they purchased?
That was at 3178 Kensington Avenue, I guess right at the newsstand, Kelly's newsstand, yeah. So that person's out there, but you have a little bit more time. So you have, like, I think till March or something to
2
pick.
more weeks or something, yeah.
Yeah, extra. Or it might even be May. But check your numbers. My God, somebody out there has a lot of money, and hopefully it's somebody in my family. Maybe not.
On to a new thing we're going to do here at Kenzo Real Estate. We're going to tell you about some houses that are for sale. So you can get some good buys out there. We got to show you the difference 4 or 5 blocks makes in the neighborhood. On the 2800 block of Belgrade Street, you can get a 2-bedroom, 1-bath for $900 a month. If you're looking to buy on the 1900 block of Somerset Street, which is about 5 blocks, you can buy the whole house, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, for $39,900. If you want to go 5 or 6 blocks east on Somerset Street, on the 2600 block of Somerset, you can buy a 2-bedroom, and you can buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath for $285,000. So what a difference 6 blocks makes. And here's the punchline. Every one of those places, you can walk out your front door and look right down the street at Kensington and Somerset, which is the world hub for heroin sales.
Right. So why would anybody pay $285,000 for a house on Somerset Street?
Well, you got live entertainment day or night. You see the zombies walking up and down the street.
That's worth $285,000?
To some people, it may be.
I mean, I don't understand how they could charge that much difference.
I know a guy
In the
Mark,
same
that
area,
would probably
even if
just
the house
film
is
all
bigger.
that, just day and night if he lived there.
Is that what all them houses are going for around there?
That's what they're going for.
That's
250
insane.
and above, yeah.
So
And 4
is it
blocks
like,
away, you can get one for $40,000.
is it like when you go in someone's house and see roaches, they say they don't go in the kitchen, they know better?
Yeah, or they have mice only in the basement.
Yeah.
1 mouse.
So I guess all the heroin addicts stay up their end and
Right, they don't come down there. All right, but on to more serious things. You remember the boy who was murdered when we were children, Eric Shunk?
yes.
Okay, that was 1983. That was about 28 years ago.
Yes, today's the anniversary
That's
of
right.
that murder. If you remember, on the day that happened, he was said to have left ShopRite at
Shop and Bag.
Shop and Bag, right, at 8:26 p.m. It was on camera, and that's what the receipt showed. And his mother left her house at 8:30 to go get him because she had told his older brother to walk
So
him, and she
within
found out he
4
didn't.
minutes.
Right, and she lived right around the corner
Right.
on Ontario Street, right?
Westmoreland.
Westmoreland. So from those few minutes, he was taken around the railroad,
4 minutes, yeah.
and
brutally
consequently
beaten
murdered.
to death and buried in a pile of snow.
Right.
And I remember me and two other friends of mine, we raised money the next day, and we brought it up to his mother's house, and we knocked on the door, and she was, just all shook up and everything. But like, that's one of the things I do remember, that we raised money, brought a can of money to the Shunk resident
That was
there at
nice.
B in Westmoreland.
I think a lot of people raised money for that family at that time. But I just can't believe that, all these years have passed. We haven't heard anything. There was
Not one
nothing
thing.
even online. I researched the story. There were 2 articles.
And one was mine.
One was written by you
Yeah.
a few years ago, which I hadn't even known. You didn't even tell me that until I looked it up, and then I seen that it was you that posted that. And the detective that was on the case, Dan Lynch, at the time, I mean, he took this really personal, and he really did his all to try to find the people that did this. And of course, if anybody remembers the story, I'm sure they will remember that there were suspects and
They questioned
rumors.
everybody in the whole neighborhood, I remember.
And Dan Lynch and a lot of other people think they know who did it. I myself am pretty sure I know who did it. Can't really reveal any names, and it doesn't really make a difference at this point because they feel that it's, I guess, a dead end. They can't prove who it was. There was no forensic science back then, no DNA evidence, so they can't really do anything about it at this point. It's just sad that their family has had to endure this their whole entire life with no closure and not knowing what happened to their son. Especially the mom. I think for years I felt so bad for the boy. Being a kid, I was in fear. Of course, my parents
Everybody
wouldn't let
was.
me up
Right.
near there anymore
Weren't
when we
allowed,
used to go
right.
up there all the time.
We slid it right off the railroads right there.
We used to just walk the railroads, play up there, go to shopping bag, hang out in the parking lot. I mean,
Well, I didn't hang out, I worked. I carried bags of cars.
you hear
bags
that?
of
He
groceries.
worked. Oh my God, it's a miracle. No, but I mean, after that happened, it was it was the first time anybody was ever murdered in the
In
neighborhood.
our immediate area.
Right,
of our
so
neighborhood.
it put a lot of fear in parents thinking, who could have done something like this?
And back then it was carefree. I know I ran the streets for hours and hours every day. I didn't come home till it was time to come in.
Yeah, and I think parents had a right to be afraid, but being this was such a shock to the neighborhood, I think it brought the neighborhood together at that
It did.
time.
It brought the
And
neighborhood.
even though you always had people watching out for your kids in the neighborhood,
You had
it
it-
was
you had
even
it
more.
double.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
everybody wanted to know where you were.
But
you had to be
sadly-
on your block at dark.
But sadly, only a year later is when the neighborhood started to fall. Like, I think that may have been the last straw for a lot of homeowners or parents, concerned parents, and they just moved away. Because it wasn't, it was like a year later, 84. People just fled. So.
Well, I think fear is
Sure,
a big
fear
reason why people, fled. And I just wanted to let everybody know, this kid was an amazing little boy. He was only 8 years old, and he had a diary that he wrote in every night. And his favorite book at the time was The Black Hole, which he recited. And he actually said something in his recordings that his mom came in and found later on. I don't know the exact words of it, but it
He
was,
used to record.
he recorded himself.
On tape recorder.
I guess he took excerpts from the book and things that he wanted to say, and it was something to the effect that you have to go, I have to be here, or I have to stay here, or something like that. And she said it was in such an adult voice. It was a different voice than he typically talked in. And I guess that gave her a little bit of peace of mind to know that he was okay. It was like a message sent, from beyond,
From beyond,
to
sure.
let him know, to let her know that she can move on. And in his diary, he was so excited about the snow. She said he loved the
It
snow.
was the biggest snow we had, I remember.
And he wrote in his diary, boy, did it snow today. He said, snow that would cover me. And that is just so ironic
That he was buried
that
in
he was
snow.
buried in the snow.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if maybe,
He
did he
saw
have
this happening.
a sense of going away and leaving his mom and leaving behind his diary and leaving behind his voice recordings. And, you know, I just hope that somehow she was able to go on with her life, and her other kids were able to go on
my
with their life.
thoughts and prayers certainly go out to the family on this anniversary of that happening.
Absolutely. Just hope everybody keeps them in your prayers.
And I hope whoever did this is caught so the family can have closure. Even if, you know, it was 28 years ago, so if you were a teen, you got to be in your 40s, late 40s. Just
Yeah, if at all you have any kind of conscience, you would at least confess to what you did and give this family some closure. And I don't understand how they could go on with their life at all and wake up every day. What if they have children of their own? I mean, how do they live with themselves? How can somebody do that? Even if they were teenagers themselves, the suspects were teenagers themselves. And that's why they were unable to be questioned, because the parents of those kids had to be given permission to speak to those kids.
right.
And, you know, kids can be evil. So I'm almost 100% sure I know who did it. So, you know, hopefully they rot in hell. That's my feeling on it.
All right, check out some of these whacked out personal ads we found. One reads, so I lost my February trans pass, and if there's anybody out there who wouldn't mind buying me a replacement, in return perhaps I will share an alcoholic beverage with you, some nice conversation, but that's where it would end. If that sounds all right, she's a tall, attractive female, white female with an IQ of 147, and she is capable of cunningly entertaining all conversational persuasions in exchange for the trans pass.
How much is a trans pass these days?
A monthly's about $70-something.
Well, her IQ can't be that high. If she's that stupid, she can't figure out another way to get a $70-some for a trans pass.
Right.
That's ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. There is somebody out there looking for someone to clean up after their dog. It makes them gag. I will wipe your in return. Human and dog is completely different, you know? Contact, keep it clean.
Why buy a dog?
I don't know. I think I'd rather clean up dog than wipe somebody's.
Well, here's a 42-year-old man who's in search of a groomer. And he can't reach his toenails and would really like someone to come over at least once a month to cut the toenails for him. He would pay them $1 per toe, and he has all 10 toes, so you'll get the full $10.
Was that you?
Yeah.
I think it was. No, it couldn't have been, because you would never pay $1 per toe.
That's
you would
right.
pay 10 cents per toe.
All right.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy seeking an ugly woman to fulfill his fantasies. The uglier, the better. If you don't shower, it's a plus. I admit, I'm pretty ugly myself, he says. So if that's what you're looking for, I am your man. Wow, so I guess there's somebody out there for everybody.
Well, what do we got going on in Community Corner?
Well, Community Corner, of course, you know, we've had a lot to deal with the snow. Everybody, I'm sure, is sick of it. And what comes after the snow? Potholes. And we know there's potholes everywhere. So if you happen to bump into one, call the streets department. They're the ones responsible for fixing the potholes. So if you keep calling and complaining about the same area, they have to come out and do something about it.
Doesn't mean they will.
Doesn't mean they will, but you know, or you know, you could fall on it and get hurt. That's pretty scary. Then you have a lawsuit against the city. But anyway, 215-686-5560. Or if you have a cell phone and you crash into it, just hit star FIX, and that'll get you right through. Or you can go to the website, www.potholes@philly.gov. Also, Career Wardrobe at 21 South 12th Street. It's a local nonprofit organization, and they're in need of some volunteers. They help women get back into the workforce, and they give them clothes.
So what do you need volunteers for, to dress the women?
They will organize different events, put the clothes together, like they have drives, do workshops, things like that, and they just
I'll volunteer if I get to clothe the women.
Oh my God, you're such a pig. Anyway, you can call 215-568-6693 or go to careerwardrobe.org. Or if you need clothes, maybe you're going back to work and you need some clothes. Also, there's a heating bill assistance for fuel oil. You can call the PA Home Heating Fuel Assistance Program. They have annual grants, and they'll be available to those who qualify pretty soon. The guidelines have been raised, so if you weren't, eligible last year, maybe this year you will be. You can call for an application at 215-923-1900, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4.
Now, I think you hit on that because you've had a problem with your own oil company.
I'm not eligible.
You're not eligible.
Yeah, I already found that out. So
You make too much money on the show?
I make way too much money on this show. I am just out of the,
All right, what do you got
criteria.
for Family Kenzo Fun Day?
Family Fun Day, and we have a lot of stuff going on. Fairmount Waterworks Interpretive Center at 640 Waterworks Drives. They have a lot of programs. Everything's free, so it's right up your alley. February,
Free?
huh?
Free parking?
Well, I didn't know. I didn't look into the parking. You don't
Then
have a
everything
car.
ain't free.
You get driven around by a limousine. So what the hell do you worry about parking for? Or your helicopter drops you off. February is focused on topography. Do you know what that is?
Sure. It's a topography.
Yeah. And in English, it means the study of land. So from 2
What's
to 4.
it mean in Spanish?
I have no idea.
Because you're stressed in English. I didn't know what that meant. Go ahead.
Because it's an English word. If I said it in Spanish, I would have said that's what it means in Spanish. But the only words I know in Spanish is
What's it mean in Latin?
Mama my bicho. So anyway, that's on Science Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. And they have other things to do, interactive experiments. They have Sunday movie matinees. This week's it's going to be Flushed Away, and that's between 1:30 and 3:30. You can call 215-685-0723 or go to fairmountwaterworks.org. I think that sounds pretty cool. I looked on the pictures. It looks like it's pretty fun. Now, the best thing about Family Fun Day is you can get a city pass. And I'm not going to say like all the details of it because you'll get mad, but you pay a little bit of money and you get to pick 6 attractions out of like 9. And it includes places like the zoo, the aquarium, Trolley Works, Big Bus Company, Academy of Natural Sciences, National Constitution Center, Please Touch Museum, Eastern State Penitentiary. You have to use them within 9 days, but you can go see all 6 of those attractions out of 9 for the same price. And that's a steal. I mean, how can you beat that? Because at least one of them places is going to cost you the same amount that you would pay for the pass.
So you buy one pass and you get to go to 6 attractions?
Within 9 days apart.
Wow.
Yep.
That's cool.
It is. And they have them for other cities too, but I looked them up and Philly seems to be the best one.
So you must be desperate for tourists or giving away now.
No, this has been for years.
I've never heard of it.
Because you live in a cave. So why would you hear of it?
I don't know, but I never heard of it.
So that means it doesn't exist. If Richie never heard of it, then it
doesn't
probably
exist.
doesn't
You're
exist.
probably
I'm
right.
lying. I'm making it all up. Go to
I'd check that out if I were you.
citypass.com and you will find out the truth.
All right, I'm going there, seeing that.
Okay.
So you have something very close to you and dear to you that you want to talk about?
Yes. Actually, on this day, it's the anniversary 1 year that I lost my grandfather to an aortic aneurysm. And I just want everybody to know what that is. The aorta is a large artery that goes from your heart through your stomach. And once you have an aneurysm, it grows, and it'll grow slowly over years. But if it's left untreated, it will burst. My grandfather's particular aneurysm, he had 2 of them, but the one was as big as a human head. So you can walk around for years with this in your body. You would never know it's there. You know, with some symptoms you would, and I'll tell you the symptoms, but he really didn't, he never went to the hospital or the doctor, so he didn't notice that anything was out of the ordinary. It wasn't extreme pain, so he didn't think that he had to have it checked out. And they did do the surgery, 15-hour surgery. He came through it fine, but over the next couple of weeks, his organs just started to fail, and there was no coming back from that. So, you know, I just hope that anybody that has any of the symptoms or characteristics for this, you know, you would go get it checked out, because it's a simple CAT scan or MRI that they could do to find out if you have it.
What are the symptoms?
Well, the characteristics are males over 60 with high blood pressure, a family history, hardening of the arteries, people who smoke, have lung problems. Symptoms are pain in your chest and your back or stomach, pulsating in the stomach, like as if you had a heartbeat, but it was in your stomach, pain in your feet or cold feet, And women can get it too, women or younger people. So
Well,
don't.
I'm about checked on every one of them that you just said. I have all the same problem.
Well, you should definitely be checked out for something like that because, like I said, you can live with this for years. And apparently, he was 78 years old, but he must have had this for over 20 years. So, you know, who knows even before that how long, because they say it grows at only at a rate of a ½ an inch per year, I think it was.
Nah, it's probably centimeters.
Centimeters, I'm sorry. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's centimeters. So his was approximately 24. So, you know, that they said as big as a human head. And you couldn't see anything protrude out of his chest or back. So he just had a lot of pain in his back all the time. And I just, you know, would hope that somebody else could hear this and go get tested and find out and have it taken care of because it's pretty
Silent
common.
killer.
And you can have it taken care of and save yourself or your loved one because it was the hardest thing I've ever been through, losing my pop. So thanks for tuning in this week, everybody. Hope you stay safe, and we appreciate you watching.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget www.therichieantipuna.blip.tv. Also now on scrapple.tv.
Thanks. Live, love, laugh.